All right, shalom, shalom. I'm the brother.
Shalom.
I'm the brother Kashakwala.
I'm Brother Zama.
Today we have a special guest on another installment of Let's Take a Look Into It. This will be number 12. And what we're going to take a look into is the Battle of Zama, and we specifically want to look into it because this is how a man named Publius Scipio got his name Africanus. All right, we mentioned him a lot on the highways and byways, and this is the battle where he obtained his name. So without further ado, I'm gonna pass the mic over to the brother Tazama, and we're gonna get right into this.
Shalom Makim. I'm actually gonna start off with a quick preset real fast. We already had a blue letter pulled up here. So if I can, real fast. We got Psalms. We'll get Psalms 49 and 11. This Psalm 49 and 11, it says, "Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, in their dwelling places to all generations." And that's the reason why you have these Edomites, which are the self-proclaimed white people that feel like their houses and their pretty much their genealogy and their progeny of their children is just going to continue forever and ever, and that their dwelling places to all generations. They believe that America is going to last forever. They believe that the creation of a so-called civilization began with the Greeks and the Romans, and they believe that, and they still believe that to all generations. It says they call their lands after their own names, and you have Leo Scipios Africanus isn't the only one that created, not necessarily created, but gave a title of a land named after him. You have, for example, you have Amerigo Vespucci, which was named after America. I was speaking with a brother yesterday, and in Cincinnati, Ohio, I want to say that's named after a Roman emperor by the name of Cincinnatus, if I'm not mistaken. But you have various different lands that are named after Edomites. So you calling yourself African American or Mexican. These are all names that was given and created by our enemies. Even if you speak I'm a Mexican or I'm Puerto Rican, that was Port of Riches. That was a name that was created by Esau. Whenever he seen this land, he seen how beautiful the Americas was, and especially the Central and South Americas, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna call this place Port of Riches, which is Puerto Rico," But or like Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, is there Columbus, Georgia?
Yeah.
Or Columbia? Well, I know Columbus,
There's a
Ohio.
Columbus.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus. You have a Rothschild Boulevard in New York, or Babylon, New York. You have all these different You have all these different names which are named after these Edomites, and this is something that's not new. This is something that's always took place.
Con, like even the brother said, even here in Georgia, there's a road called Herodian Way, which is named after the Herodian dynasty.
Jim Crow Road.
Yeah, Jim Crow Road. Not to get into too much specifics of the location, but hey, there's certain things that are named after these Edomites that are ultimately a slap in the face to Jake. Any when you look into any type of history, any place that was conquered usually was renamed by the one who conquered it. And like the brother said, you call yourself an African American, you're naming yourself after your conquerors. All right, you're fully subjecting yourselves to, quote unquote, your masters, you could say. And like the brother said, with Africa, all right, we understand by the scriptures it was named Ham. That land was Ham's, which is hum in the Hebrew, which means hot. When later we understand that the Romans spoke Greek, they named that area of the world, of the earth, Afri, which in the Greek means land of the hot. Henceforth, where you get this man Scipio. I'm gonna pass the mic.
Kind. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna read a little bit of this here, which is the Battle of Zama. And with the Battle of Zama, you have the battle that Hannibal of Carthage fought against Leo Scipios Africanus. All right, and we just wanted to just get a brief synopsis of what was taking place within this time, just so we can get a better understanding. All right, so it says the Battle of Zama, fought in 202 BC near Zama, Tunisia, marked the end of the Second Punic War. And when you go into the Punic Wars, those are the wars that Hannibal had fought against the Roman Empire. All right, and when you go into it, Hannibal was giving the Roman Empire a run for their money at certain times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, didn't have it to whereas he wanted Hannibal to. He didn't want Hannibal to take down the Roman Empire because, according to prophecy, the Roman Empire had to. The Roman Empire had to come up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's that? I'm sorry, I want to get one more precept.
Go ahead.
Promotion. I want to say it's Psalms 70th chapter, 70th Psalm, Psalm 75. Right. It says, "For promotion cometh neither from the east." Actually, I'm just see like this. For promotion cometh neither from the east. All right. So this word promotion, when we get it, is rawum, which we know that rawum means to be exalted or to rise. Right. To be rise and set up high, to be lifted. All right. It says, "For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High, Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua, is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another." So you can't force the hand of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua according to what you believe your own will is. Now, the Most High puts it in your mind to do certain things. You know, like the Roman Empire to come into power. He put the spirit upon different rulers and different Caesars to go abroad and pretty much rule the known world at that time. But it was according to prophecy, and the Most High was the one that was putting down those different nations and setting up other nations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just want to get that real fast. But it says a Roman army led by Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus, which was an Edomite.
Look at
You know,
that was an Edomite right there.
or Scipio. It says, with crucial support from the Numidian leader Massinissa, defeated the Carthaginian army led by Hannibal.
Which was a Jake. Man.
Right, they have him as an Edomite looking here, but this is really a Jake.
Mm-hmm.
It says, because I want to say Hannibal. I know Apostle Tahar went into it.
Mm-hmm.
It means I know blessed son. It's like I want to say it's like blessed son or something like that. I know Hannibal Barca. I know Barca means blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it says after defeating Carthaginian and Numidian armies at the battles of Utica in the Great Plains, Scipio imposed peace terms on the Carthaginians. Carthaginians, Slovakia, this tongue twister me for some reason, who had no choice but to accept them. At the same time, they recalled their general Hannibal's army from Italy.
Mm-hmm. Can you get a world map, real quick, so we can get the geography of everything? Or you can get like a map of Europe.
Yeah, map of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Let's see.
All right. Perfect. If you mind, can you reread that part in the about the Battle of Zama?
Mm-hmm. All right. So it says let me start here. It says after defeating Carthaginian and Numidian armies at the battles of Utica and the Great Plains, Scipio imposed peace terms on the Carthaginians, who had no choice but to accept them.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they recalled their general Hannibal's army from Italy.
Okay, so go back to that.
So the reason why I wanted to focus on that specific two sentences, because Scipio imposed like a treaty, of course, which was to be broken ultimately, and it was broken by Hannibal. That goes to show you that Hannibal is a Jake, okay? Because Jake don't really like to abide by rules, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Even in nowadays, you hear all these rap songs. They be like "F the law," you know what I'm saying? Forget ops, whatever. How they rap because they don't like to abide by the law of the system that is imposed by Esau. All right, that's why Esau is gonna have a problem with Jake and Jacob's trouble. Okay, so it goes on to say that Hannibal had to be recalled. He had to be recalled. Where's the Alps at, if I'm not mistaken? I want to say like, oh, because I want to say he went over this way. Nah, I think he went over this way. But he had to be recalled over to Carthage. All right, and when you go into Carthage, Carthage was all of this. What you see, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, all that was Carthage at this time. Okay, which was northern Africa, which the Romans called Afri, land of the hot. Because even in this northern Africa, you have what? The Sahara. All right, so he had to make a trip all the way back down to Zuma, where he had to battle Scipio. So when it says Scipio imposed peace terms, let's go. It says at the same time they recalled General Hannibal's army from Italy because Hannibal was making an advance. He was making an extreme advance onto the city of Rome during that time until he got word that his capital was under siege or was about to be taken by Publius Cornelius Scipio. Okay, so he had to recall his forces and come all the way back down, going through the Alps, ultimately suffering heavy losses due to the inclement weather to battle this dude. All right, you got it, brother. Just to give him like a visual, you know.
Yeah, kind of. All right, so it says confident in Hannibal's forces, the Carthaginians broke the armistice with Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty much said, F that. We're going to just do what we're going to do. Right? It says Scipio and Hannibal confronted each other near Zama Regia. Hannibal had 36,000 infantry to Scipio's 29,000. It says one of Hannibal's army were citizen levies, and which a levy is pretty much somebody that let's see. It says conscription, sometimes called the draft, is a compulsory enlistment of people in a national service. Pretty much, you had what's another word, like mercenaries, I guess, in a way.
Well, it mentions mercenaries in here too.
Oh, and
right down there.
Oh, okay. It says 1/3 of Hannibal's army were citizen levies, and the Romans had 6,100 cavalry to Carthage's 4,000. As most of the Numidian cavalry that Hannibal had employed with great success in Italy had defected to the Romans. It says Hannibal also employed 80 war elephants. The elephants opened the battle by charging the main Roman army. Scipio's soldiers avoided the elephants by opening their ranks and drove them off with missiles. And this ain't talking about, Tomahawk cruise missile. Right? Even though we know that Tomahawk cruise missiles do exist today. All right. It says the Roman and Numidian cavalry subsequently defeated the Carthaginian cavalry and chased them from the battlefield. Mm-hmm. So Hannibal had to flee from there. Hannibal's first line of mercenaries attacked Scipio's infantry and were defeated. Mm-hmm. The second line of citizen levies and the mercenaries' remnants assaulted the inflicted heavy losses on the Romans' first line.
If I may say, because when it goes into the mercenaries, what kind of reminds me of what ISIS today is comprised of. All right, mm-hmm. America's mercenaries are the Taliban, Al Qaeda, and ISIS. They're just mercenaries, paid to wreak havoc in those other lands to give a reason for America to go over there. Now, what it kind of reminds me of mercenary, the ISIS mercenaries is fighting against the Russians, okay? Which we see right here. Hannibal's first line of mercenaries attacked Scipio's infantry and were defeated, Russia is over here bombing the shit out of ISIS, wiping them the hell out of Syria, you know? And that's giving America no reason to be in Syria, and it's showing that Russia's like, yo, we got this area occupied, man. Your mercenaries are cleared out.
It says the Roman second line joined the struggle and pushed back the Carthaginian assault. Hannibal, so you pretty much had the first line of defense that Hannibal had got pretty much wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
The second line came and fought against an injured first line, and that second line pretty much struggled to push back the Carthaginian assault. So they was fighting the second line still, you know. So Hannibal's third line of veterans, reinforced by the Scythian levies and mercenaries, faced off against the Roman army, which had been redeployed into a single line. The combat was fierce and evenly matched. Finally, Scipio's cavalry returned to the battle and attacked Hannibal's army in the rear, routing and destroying it.
Tactics.
Yep. Because it says, when you read in that book, it says that Scipio's was pretty much an advanced general.
You can get that.
Yeah, I'm actually read it real quick. This is from a book that we have called the brother has called the Roman Empire, which, you know, you can kind of see it's the Roman Empire, and it has some pretty good history in here. But I'm just gonna jump down for a second. Want me to read the whole thing real quick?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So this is I'm gonna read just this little paragraph. It says Hannibal intended to invade by way of the Po Valley. During this necessitated taking his army, including elephants, on an epic journey across the Alps, like the brother mentioned earlier. His arrival in Italy presented the Romans with the most severe challenge to their nascent, which that word nascent means like a newly created or newly birthed empire since the Gallic sack of Rome in the late 4th century. All right. It says in 218 BCE, Hannibal won a close battle at Trebia, then wiped out a Roman army in an ambush at Lake Trasimene in 217. Finally, Hannibal's army crushed the Romans at Cannae in 216 BC. So you had Hannibal that was pretty much going hard against the Roman Empire at this time, and he was destroying various parts of their military, which goes to show you Jake's power at the end of the day too, like the strength that Jake has. But it wasn't set for Hannibal to take down the Roman Empire because prophecy wouldn't have been fulfilled. It says though the defeat at Cannae rocked Rome to the foundations, Rome's Italian allies mostly stayed loyal. Under Roman shield, quote unquote, General Quintus Fabius, also known as the Delayer, Rome slowly rebuilt its strength. Hannibal was contained in southern Italy, which, like we read earlier, while Rome dedicated its military resources to the conquest of Spain. All right, so as he was in, and we'll read it again so you can kind of see the map. It says Rome dedicated its military. Hannibal was contained in southern Italy, so you had Hannibal that was probably down within these different areas here, while Rome dedicated its military resources to the conquest of Spain. So you had a lot of the Roman military that was taking down Spain at this time. And within taking down Spain, you had them taking down the Gauls, which is around this region here. All right. So it says, driven from Spain, the Carthaginian army attempted to unite with Hannibal in Italy. All right, but was defeated. Okay, so I'll read that again. It says, driven from Spain, right? The Carthaginian army attempted to unite with Hannibal in Italy, but was defeated. Okay, because you had some of Hannibal's army that was within Spain as well too. It says, finally, a Roman army under Scipio Africanus landed in North Africa, forcing Hannibal to leave Italy to defend Carthage, like the brother mentioned earlier. Badly outnumbered and facing a skilled and experienced general, Hannibal was defeated at Zama in 202 BC. Carthage surrendered soon after. All right, and that's that history that we read. So pretty much, Leo Scipios Africanus, the Most High put the spirit upon him to take down Carthage and take down Hannibal for the sake of prophecy, man.
That's right.
You know, you have something you had to say?
Yeah, because when we read, I want to say in here, during that Battle of Zama, he did a flanking move,
Right.
which in the same instance, he did a big ass flanking move, while they're over here and some of the Carthaginian army was trying to get over to Italy. He made a big ass flanking move to Zama. All right, which was a big change in events right there.
When you have your military spread thin, it makes the homeland weak. That's why you have America, which Babylon the Great and the Roman Empire. That's going to be the Roman Empire, renewed today. Spearheaded by America, I'd rather say, but it's through the NATO and the EU. You have their military spread so thin, which is going to really weaken them. But I'll go ahead and finish off this article in Wikipedia. It says the Carthaginians lost 20,000 to 25,000, between 20 to 25,000 killed, and 8,500 to 20,000 captured. Scipio lost 4,000 to 5,000 men, so you can see the vast number and difference of men that died. 1,500 to 2,500 Romans and 2,500 Numidians killed. Defeated on their home ground, the Carthaginian ruling elite sued for peace. Sued for peace and accepted humiliating terms, ending the 17-year war.
If I may say.
And this was during the 202 BC era, so this was still during, like the brother said, the Nascent. Is that how you pronounce it?
The Nascent.
The Nascent, which means like pretty much the inception of something that has potential to become, big time, you could say. So this is during the Roman Republic, all right, and this was this battle ended, like I said, the 17-year war, the Second Punic War, ultimately giving the Romans all that occupied land of northern Africa, because we know Rome owned all of this when you look at the Roman Empire map. Okay, so that battle gave him all of northern Africa and gave Scipio his name, Africanus. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to get Daniel too?
Yeah.
I'll read it for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to close it.
Daniel 2:40, right? So Daniel chapter 2. Shit. All right, Daniel chapter 2 verse 40. It says, "In the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron."
Right, and that fourth kingdom is talking about the Roman Empire. That's that fourth kingdom that's talking about it's going to be strong as iron, because you have gold, you had the head of gold, which was the Babylonian Empire. You had the breastplate of silver, which was the Medo-Persian Empire. You had the thighs of brass, which was the Grecian Empire, and then you had the legs of iron, which was the Roman Empire. And even though gold is more valuable than iron is stronger than gold. This is when iron is a lot stronger than gold. It's hard to break. So like
was that malleable?
Yeah, gold is very malleable. That's why what you say, Yahweh shall say, you shall rule them with a rod of iron. Goes into like a very strenuous, rigorous,
strict
like rule. You know what I mean? You got
it. It says, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Shall it break in pieces and bruise. And that's exactly what the Roman Empire did, man. The Roman Empire was a vast, vast empire that broken pieces and bruised all different nations round about. Whereas the different nations had to make themselves subject unto the Roman Empire. That's why you have the 10 heads and the 10 toes, which were the 10 common markets of the Roman Empire at that time, which are pretty much vassal states. Which you had the Anglo-Saxons, the Ailmen, Ostrogoths, the Vandals, the Suevi, the Franks, the Zombards, the Visigoths, the Burgundians, and the Heruli, which were the 10 toes, which are mentioned in Daniel's second chapter as we read now. But they also had different other vassal states as well too. Israel, the land of Israel, was a vassal state to the Roman Empire. And these different nations had to pay tribute to the Roman Empire. You know, but I also want to get this in First Maccabees, the 8th chapter, going into the really like the nativity of the Roman Empire and the beginning stages of it, just because it's written about in the history, And this is, you have the Apocrypha, which you have these Edomites, in particular these Christians like Vocab Malone and these different people that claim that the Apocrypha has no validity to it and it's not true, and they denounce it. When, if that's the case, how do you get the history of the Greek Empire? If the Apocrypha is fake, how do you know that in John the 10th chapter Yahweh Shah was celebrating the feast of the dedication of the temple? Where did they get? Why was Yahweh Shai celebrating that feast? Why was he celebrating Hanukkah if that's the case? Because it's written about within the Maccabees, man, which goes into the history of the Greek Empire, which is that third kingdom, or that the breastplate. I'm sorry, the legs and the thighs of brass that was mentioned in Daniel's second chapter. All right, so this is First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1. It says, now Judas heard, it's talking about Judas Maccabees. Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of enmity with all that came unto them. Now, when you get this word enmity, all right, I think, well, it's because it's the way that it's spelled. But it pretty much goes into, it's an old English way, but it goes into like a friendship with all that came unto them. That's why it says they subdued, when you read it in Daniel 2, what did it say? It says, it says, and subdueth all things. Now, when you get this word subdueth, here we go. That word is chashal, which means to subdue, crush, or shatter. The Roman Empire was known for destroying any other empire that was in its way, man.
Correct.
So it says, and made a league of enmity with all that came unto them. And you got to remember, at this time still, the Grecian Empire was, which were Edomites, all right, was still in power, but it was going out of power. And the Roman Empire was coming in. It says, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done amongst the Galatians, which goes into the Gauls, all right, or the as we read at the battle of Zama, when they were in Spain, right? Because you had Jake that was in the areas of France or Spain today, Okay, it says and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute. All right, that's how you got them Edomites that got up there in them lands too. Because you also had you had Japhet that was up there as well. It says in Japhet was really up there first. It says in what they had done in the country of Spain, you see, for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which was there. It says and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all that place, talking about Spain and Galatia and the Galatians, though it were very far from them. See, they had their kingdom that was being expanded, and the kings also that came up against them from the utmost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they had gave them tribute every year, man. And when you go into the history of the Roman Empire, that's what made them so powerful, was the fact that they had these different nations under subjection, and they had to pay tributary to them.
That's right.
Each year, and that made the Roman Empire very rich, and that's when you get to the point of Pax Romana, or pretty much the peace of Rome. You had the Pax Romana, which Rome was at its height. Not at this time, as we're reading in the book of Maccabees, but during the times of Yahushua, when he was on the scene, the Roman Empire was at its height.
Yep.
But it all had to happen in time. But just to hammer the point back home with the Battle of Zama and Leo Scipio's Africanus taking down Hannibal of Carthage, that was a key piece to the prophecy of the Roman Empire continuing to expand their expedition through northern Africa.
Correct.
As we see, like if we type in the Roman Empire, maybe end off here.
Mm-hmm.
The Roman Empire, if you look at their map, as you see, they had a vast taking over of various different places. And as you see here, let me go back. As you kind of see here at the top, you have all of northern Africa that consisted of part of the Roman Empire. You had Spain, you had the Gauls, you had Italy, you had Turkey, which a lot of these areas was once ruled by the Grecian or the Seleucid Empire coming over here, and Israel, Egypt, so this is the Roman Empire during 117 A.D. And you can see the vastness of it. This is that fourth beast that Daniel's seeing, But man, that's all that I had,
Yep.
Khan, and even when you really look into that Rome, you can keep that picture up. Salakia, you can see it right here. If I can find it, Salakia. When you look into that Rome, when you look into Rome today, when you look into U.S. and then the Roman Empire today, U.S. rules about, I want to say, I only have like 19 countries here. But when you look into the Roman Empire and you look into a world map today, it ruled about almost like over like 40 countries today. You know what I'm saying? To show you the vast majority of its power. And that goes to show you how stretched thin they were.
Right.
The reason being why they had a lot of economic problems and fell from the inside out. It's the same thing that happened to the Seleucid Empire during the Maccabean War. When you read First Maccabees, I think the 3rd chapter, where you had to go to the tributaries because he was lacking in money to pay his troops to fight 2 fronts. He was trying to expand to the Egyptians, but still fighting the Maccabees in one theater.
Yeah, even too when he was, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say even too when he came to fight the Egyptians and the Ptolemaic Empire, because you read about the Seleucids. You can read about the Syrian wars. Like if you go through Daniel the 11th chapter, that whole 11th chapter is talking about the Syrian wars between the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Empire. But even when you read in the book of Maccabees, when you had Antiochus try to go down there into Egypt and to fight against the Ptolemaic Empire, what happened? You had the Romans that came and pretty much drew a circle around them. Like, look, before you make a decision, before you make a decision about what you want to do, think about what you're doing. And if you step forward, they pretty much, that line in the sand came through that act that took place between Antiochus and the Romans. And those Romans, what did the Romans do? They came to aid Ptolemy because Ptolemy had a pact with the Romans.
That's right.
You see? That's why I said that in Maccabees they said that they made a league of enmity with whoever they wanted to have a friendship with.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Which they all were Edomites at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just like today, you have infighting between the Edomites at the end of the day, man. It's not nothing new under the sun. It's just different infighting between different elite families. It's not Russia. Russia's coming to save the day against America. Like Russia still has. They're still Edomites at the end of the day, man.
Mm-hmm.
They have motives about the reason why they're helping out in Syria. It's all about resources. Them being in Iran. You think they give a damn about the Iranians? No, they don't give a damn about the Iranians, man, or the Persians. They over there to have resources, and in order to get those different resources, you have to make different pacts and deals. Exactly. And it's no different than it was no different than. That's why if we can, if we can end off on this one, unless you had anything else you want to give. What is it? Ecclesiastes 1. Oops, Ecclesiastes 1 and let's see, nothing new under the sun. Where's that? There's no new thing. Okay, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. You see, so there's no new thing under the sun at the end of the day. You got these different backdoor deals that are taking place and subversion of different nations. It's nothing new that's happened since the time of old, man. Mm-hmm. Just like the Roman Empire was spread thin and then fell. Same thing's gonna happen with the new Roman Empire today, man. It's we're spearheaded by America. But Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. We wanted to just bring out some history in regards to the battle of Zama. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, and double honors to the apostles, and that was a great millstone that taught us the truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.